Hello and welcome to this simple English story. Today, I will share something that might help you, not only with English, but with your life. This is a story about a woman who was afraid to speak English. She didn't have a teacher, or much time, or much money. She didn't go abroad. She didn't take big classes. She just stayed home and used 5 simple steps that changed her life. She started with fear. She continued with hope. She finished with something stronger: confidence, courage, and freedom to speak. If you ever feel stuck, this story is for you. If English feels too hard, too big, or too far, this story will guide you. Let your ears listen. Let your heart open. Let your English grow with each word, one small step at a time. You will improve your English and maybe your life too. Now, take a deep breath. Let's begin. Her name is Emma. She is 32 years old. She lives in a quiet town and works in a small office every weekday. Her job is simple. She checks numbers, writes emails, and answers the phone. Most days, she speaks very few words. Emma lives alone in a small apartment. After work, she cooks simple meals, reads books, and sometimes stares out the window. She is quiet, kind, and gentle. People like her, but they often forget her name because she never speaks too much. Emma likes walking after rain. She likes the smell of books. She likes soft music and hot tea. She likes peaceful things. But there is one thing she does not like, one thing that always brings her fear. That thing is English. At school, English was her worst subject. She knew grammar, but speaking was always hard. Her voice would shake. She still remembers her teacher calling her name. She stood up, tried to speak, but the words would not come out. Her classmates laughed. Her hands felt cold. Her ears felt hot. After that day, Emma always stayed quiet in class. Years passed, but the fear stayed with her. Even now, when someone speaks English, her heart beats faster. At work, her boss said, "We need someone who can speak English. We have foreign partners now. We need communication." Emma smiled, but inside, she felt a heavy stone in her chest. She knew she would never be chosen for that job. That night, she sat on her bed, holding her phone. She watched a video of someone speaking English so easily, so naturally. She whispered, "Why can't I speak like that?" She knew the words, but her mouth would not move. Her voice was small. Every year, she made the same plan this year. I will learn English. But after a few days, she always stopped. She said, "I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'm not good at languages. It's too late." These thoughts became her wall. One Sunday evening, she searched online how to learn English alone. Many videos came up. Some were too fast or too hard. Then she saw a video titled, "Talk to Yourself, the Easiest Way to Speak English." She clicked. The speaker smiled warmly. The woman said, "You don't need grammar. You don't need perfect sentences. You just need your voice in 5 minutes." Emma laughed. "Talk to myself. That's silly." But the woman continued, "Try it now. Say, 'Hello, my name is—'" Right now, Emma paused. She looked around. No one was there. She stood up, walked to the mirror, and looked at herself quietly. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. She felt strange. Then she took a deep breath and said, "Hello, my name is Emma." Her voice was small, like a whisper. but she said it again. My name is Emma. I work in an office. I live in a small town. She looked into her own eyes. She felt silly, but also proud. She had just spoken English without fear, even for a moment. That night, she wrote those sentences in a notebook. She called it her English diary. Just one page, just simple words. The next morning, she tried again. Hello, Emma. How are you today? I'm fine. It's Monday. I want to speak more today. She smiled. She had never spoken that much English in her life. Not in school, not at work, not with friends. Only now she continued every day. 5 minutes, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. Sometimes she spoke while cooking. After 1 week, she had 5 pages in her notebook. She wrote about her day, her feelings, her dreams, in English. It was not perfect. Sometimes she forgot words. Sometimes she said the wrong thing, but it was her voice, her own effort. Emma began to enjoy this small time alone. Talking to herself in English felt like planting a seed, something small but alive. After 2 weeks, Emma noticed something. She could speak a little faster. She didn't need to think too long before simple sentences. She said, I feel tired today, but I will try. Then she added, trying is better than stopping. She smiled at that thought. She started writing short sentences before sleep. Today was a good day. I want to be better tomorrow. It became a habit. One night, Emma tried to read an English article online, but after 2 lines, she stopped. There were too many difficult words. She felt frustrated. I can speak simple things, but I still don't understand much. Maybe I'm too slow. Maybe I'm not smart. She almost closed her notebook, but then she remembered something from the video. Mistakes are normal. Don't stop. Speak anyway. Emma decided to look for more simple ways to practice. She searched how to practice English speaking alone. For beginners, she found another video. The title was Shadowing Repeat Like an Actor. She clicked. The speaker was calm and friendly. The speaker said, find a video with subtitles. Listen, repeat every sentence. Try to copy the voice, rhythm, and feeling. Emma was curious. Like acting, she thought. That could be fun. She chose a video about daily routines. Very simple. The first sentence was, I wake up at 7 a.m. She paused the video and said it aloud. Then again. Then once more. She watched the woman say, I make a cup of coffee. Emma copied her voice. She tried to match the tone and speed. At first, it was strange. She was too slow. Her words sounded different. But she didn't give up. She kept repeating. After 20 minutes, she had shadowed one short video, only 3 minutes long, but it felt like running a race. Her mouth felt tired, but her heart felt alive. This is speaking, she thought. This is real. I can feel it in my voice. The next day, she shadowed again, a video about emotions. I feel happy. I feel sad. I feel excited. She repeated each one. She looked in the mirror as she spoke. She saw how her face changed with each word, how her voice began to sound stronger. Emma made a small schedule. Monday self-talk, Tuesday shadowing, Wednesday write in diary, Thursday repeat, Friday mix both. She was still shy. She still didn't speak to other people in English. But something inside her had changed. A light turned on. Then one day, At the bus stop, she heard two tourists speaking English. They looked lost. One of them said, "Do you know this place?" No one answered. Emma looked around. People turned away. She felt her heart beating fast. Then, slowly, she raised her hand. She walked to them and said, "Excuse me, can I help?" The tourists smiled. One said, "Oh yes, we are looking for this museum." Emma pointed and said, "Go straight, then turn left. It's near the coffee shop." Her voice was calm. Her words were clear. They said, "Thank you so much." She smiled and said, "You're welcome." When they walked away, she stood still for a moment. Her hands were shaking, but not from fear, from excitement. She had just spoken English with real people in real life. That evening, she opened her notebook and wrote, "Today, I spoke English outside. I helped someone. I didn't freeze. I'm proud." Emma looked at her face in the mirror. "I did it," she whispered, and for the first time, she believed it was only the beginning. After that day, Emma felt something new. It was not just hope, it was belief. She believed she could really speak English someday. She began to speak louder during her self-talk practice. She smiled while shadowing videos. She even recorded her own voice. At first, she hated her voice. It sounded too slow, too soft. But after 1 week, she listened again. It didn't sound bad anymore. In fact, she could hear her improvement. Her sentences were clearer. Her voice was more confident. Her rhythm was getting smoother. She felt proud. "This is my voice," she said, "and this voice is learning." That small sentence gave her power to keep going. Emma also started watching short English shows. She used something called the 3-pass method from a video she found online. The first time, she watched without subtitles. She just listened, even if she didn't understand everything. She let her ears explore. The second time, she watched with English subtitles. She followed each word carefully, learning how the words connected. The third time, she paused after each sentence. She repeated the sentence aloud, just like shadowing. It was hard, but helpful. She did this 3-pass method with a 5-minute video every weekend. It became her favorite weekend habit, like a quiet movie night. Emma also wrote down new words in her notebook, but not too many, just 5 words each time, and she used them in her diary. 1 week, her 5 new words were brave, nervous, excited, journey, and grow. She wrote, "I feel nervous, but also brave." Another time, she wrote, "This journey is not easy, but I grow every day." These simple sentences became her strength. One day, she was in a bookstore. A young girl was looking at English books. The girl asked, "Is this good for learning English?" Emma smiled. She said, "Yes, it has short stories and simple words. I used that one last year. It really helped." The girl thanked her. Emma walked away slowly. Her hands shook again, but just a little. She had used English again in real life. At work, her boss asked if anyone could reply to a short English email. Emma raised her hand. Everyone turned to look. Her heart beat fast, but she smiled and said, "I can try." She read the email carefully and wrote a short, kind reply. Her boss said, "Good job." Emma, that moment felt like a star inside her, small but full of light. She wrote about it that night. "I used to feel small," she wrote. "Now I feel like I am growing every week. English is not easy, but it is mine now." She continued her small routine, self-talk in the morning, shadowing twice a week, 3-pass method on weekends, a few diary pages at night. She did not speak perfectly. She still forgot words, but she didn't stop. She didn't wait for confidence. She built it herself. Emma's world was changing, not because of big travel or big money, but because of small, brave steps, repeated again and again. One cold Friday, Emma came home from work. Her boss had called her in and said, "We're cutting staff. I'm sorry. You're one of them." She sat on her bed in silence. She had worked there for 8 years. It was her routine, her safety, her identity. Now it was gone. She didn't cry. Not at first. She just stared at the wall. Her thoughts were loud. I'm not special. I'm too quiet. I'm not enough. For the next few days, she didn't touch her English notebook. She didn't talk to herself. She didn't open YouTube. Everything felt heavy. She said, "What's the point? English won't bring my job back. Speaking won't fix anything." The voice in her mind grew darker. One morning, she saw her notebook on the table. Dust had started to settle on the cover. She opened it without thinking. She flipped through the pages. Words from her past weeks looked back at her. "Keep going. I'm proud. Small steps matter." She turned to a page that said, "I want to grow, no matter how slow." Her chest felt tight. Her eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "I wrote this. I was strong once." Her hands trembled. Then she turned on her voice recorder and pressed play. She heard her own voice from last week. "I am getting better every day. I believe in myself." It was soft but true. For the first time in days, she smiled, not because things were okay, but because she remembered who she was becoming. That afternoon, she spoke to herself again. "I feel sad, I feel lost, but I still want to grow." Even now, she wrote in her notebook, slowly, "Losing a job is not the end. I still have my voice. I still have my words." She went for a walk. The wind was cold, but the sun was kind. She repeated to herself, "Small steps, small hope, still alive." Emma remembered something she heard. "Your past self fought for you. Don't waste her effort." That line stayed in her heart. She wrote a list of 3 things she could do: speak English 5 minutes a day, read 1 short article, and apply for 1 job. Each was small, but small was enough. Small was honest. Small was brave. She didn't need to win. She only needed to begin. Emma started again, slowly, quietly, carefully. And each time she spoke, her voice became stronger. Each sentence was a thread of healing. She made mistakes, but now she smiled at them. She said, "Mistakes mean I'm trying. Trying means I'm moving. Moving means I am alive." 6 months later, Emma sat in a small library. Around her were 5 people, all holding notebooks, listening to her speak in English. She said, "Today, we will practice shadowing. Don't be shy. Just copy the voice. It's not about perfect. It's about brave." Yes, Emma had become a small English group leader in her town. She didn't plan it. She just helped 1 friend, then 2. Now, every Saturday morning, she met with others who also wanted to speak English but were afraid, just like she once was. She told them, "I started with self-talk, just 5 minutes a day. It felt silly at first, but it gave me courage. Then I tried shadowing. I copied real voices from videos. I didn't understand everything, but I repeated until I felt strong. I also use something called the 3-pass method. First listen, then read, then speak. It helped me connect sounds and meaning, and I made mistakes. So many. I forgot words. I froze. I doubted myself. But I kept going. That's the secret, keep going. Emma smiled as she looked at the group. Some looked nervous, some looked excited, but they all looked ready to try. After class, a girl came to her and said, "You speak so well. Were you always good at English?" Emma laughed gently and replied, "No, I was afraid. I couldn't even say hello without shaking, but I didn't give up." She walked home that evening under soft orange light. The air was calm. Her steps were slow, but her heart was full. That night, she opened her old notebook. The first page said, "Hello, my name is Emma. I want to speak English." She smiled at the sentence. She whispered, "Thank you," not to anyone else but to herself, the woman who began with fear. Emma closed the notebook. Then she opened a new one. On the first page, she wrote 5 lessons in big, clear letters. 1. Start small. Even 1 minute matters. 2. Talk to yourself. Your voice is your teacher. 3. Repeat again. That's how it sticks. 4. Enjoy mistakes. They are signs of learning. 5. Never stop. The journey is the reward. Then she wrote one final sentence at the bottom of the page. This is your turn. Start today.